Stasis has been the game for a while now. Okay, we're gonna use that arc. It's been completely overshadowed by Strand and the other light 3.0 subclasses. This has been for a long time now. You may have seen the title in the thumbnail and it says something like,
Stasis sucks!
Yes, it does suck right now. But Season 23 is going to be jam-packed with changes, and some of these changes will be to Stasis as a whole, so that's why we're making a Stasis build for you guys to try out and get ready for the next season. We did a video over how some of these Stasis changes will affect build crafting as a whole, so if you're interested, make sure to check that video out. But with that, hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and let's get into it. This build is a Stasis Warlock build focusing on turret making and freezing. The exotic we're going to be using is called Eye of Another World. This exotic passively buffs our regeneration for more grenade energy, melee energy, and rift energy by 50%. This exotic also highlights targets below the 50% mark for their HP. This will greatly increase our grenade regeneration rate for more grenade turrets. For the subclass, we have the Winter's Wrath Super. This allows us to freeze and shatter constantly and control the battlefield completely. You mostly want to use this in sticky situations if you're about to die to freeze everything in place. We're using the Healing Rift, the Penumbral Blast Melee, and the Dustfield Grenade. You can use any grenade you want, since with our aspect, they will all increase their time to match the Glacier Grenade. For aspects, we have Bleak Watcher and Ice Flare Bolts. Bleak Watcher spawns a Stasis turret. After holding your grenade and charging it, that freezes enemies constantly controlling the battlefield. This aspect, like we said, increases our timer to match the Glacier Grenade. This will have its time decrease from 152 seconds to 121 seconds in Season 23. This will allow us to get more turrets out on the battlefield and freeze even more targets. Our second aspect is Ice Flare Bolts. This aspect sends secrets to nearby targets after shattering a target that is already frozen. So with these two aspects, we could freeze a whole room very easily. For our fragments, we have Whisper of Fissures. This increases the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or a frozen target. This will allow us to do more damage to targets after our turrets freeze a target. Then Whisper of Torment. This will give us more grenade energy when we take damage from targets. This will help a lot when trying to get our grenade back, since 90% of the time we're going to be getting shot at either way. Then we have Whisper of Chains. This gives us a damage reduction when near frozen targets, which is basically going to be all the time with this build. And finally, we have Whisper of Endurance. This will allow our slow debuff and turret to last for a longer period of time. For the mods, here are the full mods of this build. For the exotic helmet, we have Harmonic Siphon, Rapid Stasis for weapon final blows, create and overpower. We're going to be using a stasis weapon for this build. This will give us more orbs to then feed into our grenade. Then we have Heavy Ammo Finder and also Heavy Ammo Scout. This will allow us to get more heavy ammo for ourselves and also more heavy ammo for our teammates, which is going to be really good for high level content. For our gauntlets, we have Impact Induction. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. So when you use your melee, which will freeze targets, this will give us a chunk of grenade energy back. Then we have 2 grenade kickstarts. In Season 23, this might change, especially if we're going to be able to use firepower with this turret, because right now it doesn't work like that. But with the 2 grenade kickstarts, basically we can get even more grenades after picking up some orbs. And also in Season 23, they're going to be nerfing a lot of these mods, but mainly the kickstart mods, because now you have to have an armor charge on, at least one, for this to proc. So it doesn't proc when there's no armor charges, which is sad to see, honestly. But again, we're just going to have to live with it and try it out and see how it works. For the chest piece, we have Charged Up. Increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. So this is going from 3 to 4 stacks. Then we have any resist mods you want. For the boots, we have Innervation. Reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb power. So each time we get an orb of power from our stasis weapon or for another mod we're going to mention very soon, this will reduce our grenade cooldown, which will also tie into our grenade kickstart. So then when we throw the grenade, we'll get even more grenades back. Then we have Stacks and Stacks. Picking up an orb of power grants you 1 additional stack of armor charge. So we're going from 1 stack after 1 orb to 2 stacks from 1 orb. This will allow us to only pick up 2 orbs to get to the max stacks of 4 that we're carrying right now. This will tie into the 2 kickstarts that we have for our gauntlets, and so we can get more energy back. For our last and final mod on the boots, we have Recuperation. Replenishes your health each time you pick up an orb of power. There's not a lot of healing on stasis, so this is going to be very beneficial just to keep yourself alive. And pairing this with the Whisper of Chains fragment, getting that damage reduction and also the health regen is going to be very nice. Then for the class item, we have Bomber. Reduces your grenade cooldown when you're using your class ability. This is just going to be another way to get our turrets back faster. Then we have Powerful Attraction. Automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. There's not going to be a ton of orbs on this build, so you could switch this out for something else if you wanted to, but just for the ease of use for the build, I just run this just so I can also tie into our grenade kickstarts as well. For the last and final mod, we have Reaper. After using your class ability, your next weapon found below spawns an orb of power. This is the other way we're going to be spawning orbs of power with this build. And we're going to be popping that class ability a lot just to heal ourselves as much as possible. Because again, there's not a lot of healing on Stasis. So again, this will tie into our grenade kickstart. For stats of this build into resilience first for that 30% damage reduction. Grenade next for our turrets, just so we can throw those more often. And recovery last for more healing with our healing rifts. You could build into strength if you really wanted to as well, or at least 50, just because we're going to be using the impact induction mod. But I just built fully into recovery with 48 strength. And I think this is a good balance. For weapons of this build, stasis weapons with demolitionist or wellspring help a lot with this build, just to get your turret back as fast as possible, along with the other ways that we're going to be getting our turret back. You can even use a headstone weapon and replace a fragment with Whisper of Shards to increase your grenade regen substantially. This is all your choice, but those are some things I definitely recommend for this build. And some weapons that have that is Quilm Terminus from the King's Fall raid. This has Wellspring and even Unrelenting if you want to get more health back. You could use Deliverance, which also has Demo and Choke as a fusion rifle. This is from the Vow Disciple raid. Could even use Riptide. The role I like is auto-loading and Choke. There's a lot of roles you can get, and I know you can get Demo on this weapon. There's also Ias Luna. This is from the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, and a role I like is Unrelenting and Headstone on this hand cannon. And there's also the new Pacific Epitaph. This is from the Season of the Deep dungeon, Ghost of the Deep. And yes, there are so many options for this kind of build, but the last weapon I'm going to mention is Chain of Command. This is a stasis machine gun. This was from a while ago, a ritual weapon. I'm not sure if you're able to obtain this anymore, but those who did, it has Adrenaline Junkie and also Demolitionist. But yeah, those are some weapons I do recommend a lot, so make sure to give them a try. For the gameplay loop of this build, use your grenade first. After you're holding it and charging it for a few seconds, you will develop your stasis turret, which once thrown, the turret will target enemies nearby and freezing them. This is from our Bleak Watcher aspect. After shattering these frozen targets, you will see these stasis seekers that will seek nearby targets and freeze them until everything is frozen. Your grenade will regenerate from our passive buff from our exotic helmet and get a chunk of energy from Grenade Kickstart armor mod. We'll also get a chunk of energy from our Bomber armor mod after using our class ability, and after hitting a target with our melee with our impact induction armor mod. We're going to passively get our grenade energy back from Whisper of Torment fragment, and finally picking up an orb from our Innervation armor mod. Use your melee to freeze targets, which will passively regenerate faster from our exotic helmet, and will give us grenade energy from hitting targets with our melee, like we said before with our impact induction armor mod. Use your class ability to heal when needed from our Healing Rift. Pick up any orbs around you from our powerful Attraction armor mod. Get more grenade energy from our Bomber armor mod, and spawn an orb of power when getting a kill after using your class ability. Use any weapon needed to give more grenade energy back for more ad clear, and use your super if you get into a sticky situation where you need to control everything. The super is not that great for damage, but does control things very well. For armor charges, we built into 2 mods of Grenade Kickstart to get more grenades to throw. That's basically it for the build. Stasis is getting a refresh overhaul with a ton of new things we don't know yet. So make sure to stay tuned to this channel because I will be posting more Stasis content once we get our hands on it. But either way, this is a great build to take right into Season 23. So if you enjoyed this build and want to see more, make sure to check out my other builds on my YouTube channel. They're very fun and I bet you will find some intriguing. Thank you for your time and watching through this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.